Assalamualaikum. I think
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
khabar Cik Wan.
Alhamdulillah.
I rasa macam I pula overdress kali ni.
Tak apa. Awak pergi. Overdress saya. Okay.
Let's just
Clear.
wait for another. Yeah, we can hear you. Let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes.
Sure. No worries. Waalaikumsalam Cik Rahilan. Daripada Hong Leong, MSIG tak apa.
Okay, I think we, in the interest of time, maybe we can start. Firstly, I think Assalamualaikum and good morning. So my name is actually Sufyan. I'm from MTA and I will be the MC for today. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Cik Wan Ahmad Najib and also Puan Alina. Cik Wan Ahmad Najib is actually the Chief Strategy and Digital Distribution from FWD Takaful Berhad. And Puan Alina is the program lead for Fun for Life from Arus Academy. So welcome, both of you. I know that you guys are actually very busy, and thank you very much for sparing your time to be with us today. I think at the same time, we also have our CEO, Encik Razwan. Welcome, Encik Razwan. And to all the participants or the audience, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for taking your time to join us today. So welcome everyone. Just a little background. I mean, this is MTA first webinar for 2020. This is the collaborations with FWD Takaful. Inshallah, we will be organizing more VBIT's webinar series living out throughout 2022. Our main objective basically for this webinar to create awareness on VBIT and also to share members' knowledge and practices in implementing VBIT in their daily operations. So the question is actually, I think from the crowd will be what is VBIT. Maybe I can start just giving some background on what is actually VBIT. So VBIT is a framework that was developed by the Takaful industry practitioner itself to encourage the industry players or Takaful operators to achieve sustainable growth and also to create positive social economic impact. And at the same time, TO, we hope that TO will become a major influence on the realizations of prosperity and Maqasid Sharia. So in a way, what I'm saying that VBIT is actually the industry aspirations to bring Takaful industry to the new level, which would like to be known as the future landscape of Takaful. So in a way, this journey, of course, we hope to create values to Takaful operator itself, to the government, and also to the society. In a way, if you would like to know more about VBIT, you can always visit www.vbit.com www.vbitakafu.com. So in a way, our webinar is to trying to understand on how it is being embedded in a product or solutions of a Taka food operator. Maybe just some housekeeping. I encourage the audience to use the Q&A button and send your questions to us, and we will try to answer them later on during the Q&A session. So without further ado, I think I pass the floor to Cik Wan Aman Najib and Puan Alina. So take us through on Fun for Life. Over to you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all the attendees today. We are seeing an increase in crowd, and we're very happy to be here today. Thank you, MTA, for organizing the MTA webinar series, Living Out Value-Based Intervention for Taka. I think this is the first of many to come. What we, like Encik Sophia mentioned, what we intend to do as in industry is to give everyone a flavor of what VBIT is in real execution, right? Just to give you an overview of, I think Encik Sophia already gave you some introduction of what value-based intervention for Takapu, or in short VBIT means. The framework came out somewhere in June, end June 2021, which underpins 4 trusts. I think let me just share my screen so that it's easier for me to tell you this story. I'll go on in and out from screens to myself. Today will be very casual talk. Me and Alina. I'm very fortunate to have Alina with me to talk about that after this. But again, coming back to VBIT, right? VBIT has these 4 underpinning trusts: financial resilience, community empowerment, good self-governance, and best conduct, which intends where we focus on all these 4 pillars. Everything we do would create the impact to all the stakeholders involved within the industry, be it ourselves, our customers, the public at large, and everyone. It is intended to bring Takafu industry particularly to higher levels. Today, we will not talk about VBIT. Just to be very clear, we're going to focus on one particular pillar, which is community empowerment. Right? As you can read on the screen, community empowerment is the process of enabling people to gain control over the factors and decisions that shape their lives. Right? This is fundamental in us as individuals to take up financial products, to take up Takafu. Right? And by no means better than to focus on one particular aspect of community empowerment is to provide awareness and knowledge on Takafu and financial to our consumers, our customers, in order for them to be able to make better decisions in life, better financial decisions in life, take control of their lives, and for those who falls in various situations that they are, which might not be to the best of their interest, get out of it. For instance, poverty. Right? So that particular aspect of what we call financial literacy is what we're going to talk about today. Something that is very close to my heart. As an organization, FB Takafu, we also champion this. As a group itself, we look at this as a very important pillar of the ESG strategy that the group adopts. Right? So that's what we're going to talk about. And as FWTK have many many financial literacy program, the one particular one that anchors all of us is all of our financial literacy mainly is Fun for Life. And before that, just to give you an overview why we talk about financial literacy, and everybody knows about this, right? We've talked about, you know, the classic problem statement, 17% penetration rate, blah blah blah, which mean 8 out. And when we focus on the the numbers itself, we look at the low income having the least protection, right? And even we when look into another report that was produced in 2018, I think a lot of it you can see is focused on the B40 segment, right? We're not attaching this financial literacy for everyone. There's also stats out there by the Ringgit Plus Malaysian Financial talks about, how many people does not have saving, only 90% have saving, 20, you know, and people not 29% of Malaysians realize the importance of saving, but most of them don't have any, right? So that's where I think coming to this and giving you a background of how we started this journey, Everyday Takaful, on financial literacy. So we realized this. In 2019, if you remember, in June, somewhere in June 2019, the financial literacy issue, it's something that we as an industry have talked about. I've just shared some stats and figures. We've always known that this is an issue, and we take steps, we try to take steps. Um, as a country itself, we realized that this is something that needs to be addressed. And that's where in June 2019, the National Financial Literacy Strategy came about, right? Driven by the Financial Education Network, Bank Negara is in it, Securities Commission in it, Ministry of Education is in it, Ministry of Higher Education, the CPIDM, EPF, all these bodies came together, put forward this National Financial Literacy program. And in there, there's also pockets of how to address adults, AKPK, and also how to address the young ones, right? So this is a blueprint. I urge our audiences to go and have a look at it and understand how it came about. So embracing this cause, right? We took on ourselves at Everyday Takafu to explore how do we do this, right? And we thought about it, and where do we start? Financial literacy, I think it's a subject that we can talk about for many days. There are a lot of pockets of communities that we need to address, segments that we need to address. But we decided at WD Takafu, if we cannot change everyone at one go, let's shape the next generation of financial literate individuals. The community that will change how their lives be in the future. And that's where we just decided that what more best to start with the young ones, with children, who would, with our kids or kids of our nephews and nieces and neighbors, who would then make better financial decisions in the future. So we had this intention. We know that we want to teach Takafu out there to kids. But again, Takafu, talking to adults like you and me, it's also a boring subject. Some of us run away from it. Right? How do we do this with kids? And being Everyday Takafu, we wanted to do it digitally. So somehow or other, I think my colleague Wan Intan knew this lady by the name of Alina Ame, who I had the honor to have worked with her and her team at Arus Academy for the past 2.5 years, right? Going in this will be our third year, come August 2020, since we launched Fund for Life. It started off at a coffee shop, San Francisco Coffee in Menara Shell, where Everyday Takafu operates. And from there, through a simple brainstorming, the clash of two passionate people, I guess, or passionate groups of people. One, an educator, Arus Academy, very they specialize in providing education to underprivileged kids, focusing on science, technology, engineering, and maths subjects, so digital. And us who's passionate about telling the world about how important Takapu protection is. Right, so we came about brainstorm and came together in August, and the next thing we know, September we've launched what we call Fund for Life, right? Where we want to build to shape a financially smart generation. Dalam bahasa Melayu, membina generasi celik kewangan. Right? And we have this, and I'm not gonna take the limelight, the thunder from Alina Ame. She's an amazing person, a very eloquent speaker. I will now hand over to Alina Ame to share with you what started, how we brought in financial literacy in a very fun way, And later, as I conclude, tell you how this particular initiative has contributed to and created value and impact to the people we've touched. With that, let me just unshare the screen and Alina may take it away.
Thank you, Encik Najib. Thank you, Encik Sofian. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everybody who attended this webinar. So as an introduction, I'm Alina. I'm from RS Academy. I am a trained teacher. I taught for 4 years in a high-need school in Penang. I taught sejarah actually, but as I find out more about how the education system needs a bit more work in terms of making it more meaningful and relevant. That's when I started RS Academy. And also, as Najib mentioned earlier, we met at a coffee shop with Intan as well, his colleague. And we wanted to talk about financial literacy and how we can help. At that point, we did not have Fund for Life as an idea, but we were just brainstorming what can we do to bring financial literacy to students. As an educator who believes that education should be relevant, education should be meaningful, education should be hands-on, we decided we were going to make a camp. We're going to create a camp where we're going to simulate financial situations, because that is when you can really experience what it's like to manage money, what it's like to experience peristiwa mengejut in life, what it's like to work for money, etc. And when we first spoke about running a financial literacy program, and that time we were presented with an opportunity lah. Sebab masa tu Bank Negara had their Carnival Kewangan, their annual Carnival Kewangan that was coming out in Perlis. So we decided, okay lah, we're gonna jump on this Carnival Kewangan. We're gonna launch a camp and see how it goes from there. We didn't think it was gonna be a long-term couple. We were just gonna test the waters. So we went to Kanga, we designed a 3-day camp. Students were given a career, they had financial responsibilities as they make decisions about their character, so they have to make payments for their needs. They were presented with concepts like saving lah, takaful, investment, and then through peristiwa mengejut, they get accidents, they get scholarships, they get married, they get children, and they saw how their responsibilities grew and grew, and we can actually hear them saying, Alhamdulillah nasib baik beli takaful in the previous round. So those were the things that we were really amazed that the kids were so quick at getting in terms of the concept, financial concept that for most adults are very difficult to understand. Investment, for example. And we could see a lot of the kids were really stressed out when money was running low. And we played this the whole day. And a part of the briefing from the simulation, we discussed about money and how to manage it, how to keep it, how to make sure protection plan is always part of your budget. And we taught them how to create their own mobile applications through wireframing. So in less than a day, we had so many ideas coming up from the kids, from like Wiki Takaful to Just Takaful to Takagram, on like how they think takaful should be provided to young people like them. And this is all best summarized through a video. Actually, so I'm actually going to share a video. I'm going to make sure I share sound, and it's best to watch it in a recap like this.
Anak-anak murid tengah melakukan simulasi, diorang tengah beli rumah, sewa rumah, beli kenderaan dengan gaya hidup. Jadi setiap pusingan diorang kena bayar. Sekarang tengah membandingkan pelaburan yang mana boleh mendapatkan pendapatan lebihan, sama ada boleh beli saham, sama ada boleh memiliki hartanah ataupun boleh beli takaful. So, diorang kena decide betul-betul yang mana boleh menjana pendapatan untuk pusingan seterusnya.
Okay, what's happening now? Students have just been given their pasangan.
So they've been paired up with a spouse, and now they have to add their Takafu coverage so that their Takafu coverage also covers their spouse.
Sekarang anak murid tengah membina carta hidup mereka. Lepas tu diorang kena kenal pasti di mana perlu perbelanjaan dan di mana perlukan perlindungan takaful.
For day 2, students will learn how to make application using a wireframe software, and they will also then go through design thinking to figure out what they can make to teach their other friends about Takafu.
So mereka ada satu kad idea untuk tolong perkenalkan takaful, dan dia kena cari pasangan and kongsi idea dan sama-sama bantu macam mana nak perkenalkan takaful.
Hari ini adalah hari terakhir untuk diorang siapkan semuanya.
Sekarang pelajar-pelajar tengah sediakan poster untuk mereka tampilkan masa karnival kewangan nanti.
Sebenarnya saya sendiri kagum dengan pelaksanaan program Fun for Life. Dia melangkaui jangkaan saya. Program di Sekolah Kebangsaan Putra merupakan sekolah pertama pilot program yang terpilih bagi melancarkan program Fun for Life. Kami FBIT Takaful bersama dengan rakan sedik kami Arus cuba untuk menyuntik perkataan baru dalam usaha kami untuk menimbulkan kesedaran dan mendidik masyarakat tentang betapa pentingnya literasi kewangan. Dan pada pendapat kami, cara terbaik adalah memula dari umur yang muda. Untuk memastikan program Fun for Life disampaikan dengan lebih efektif, kita cuba terapkan pendekatan pembelajaran yang lebih interaktif dan seronok. Pada masa yang sama berstruktur dan lebih praktikal supaya pelajar-pelajar senang faham dan tangkap konsep-konsep yang dikongsikan.
Takaful ni dapat macam melindungi kita daripada apa-apa kecemasan seperti rumah terbakar, banjir dan sebagainya. Takaful ni macam boleh melindungi kita lah sebab kita melapor, lepas tu kalau ada kecemasan dia bagi balik duit tu kan.
Alhamdulillah, kita nampak objektif kita tercapai pada program pertama kali ini di Sekolah Kebangsaan Putra. Kalau kanak-kanak berumur 12 tahun pun boleh berulang-ulang menerangkan konsep takaful, tercapai sudah objektif pertama kami. Dan bila kita lihat idea-idea mereka yang kemudian diterjemahkan kepada wireframe mobile application yang cukup canggih, saya cukup rasa berbangga dan gembira.
Terima kasih kepada ADK Pelaksana Fun for Life. Pihak sekolah melaksanakan ucapan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kerana program ini dapat memberi ilmu pengetahuan dan pengalaman baru kepada murid-murid di Sekolah Kebangsaan Putra.
You're mute.
So that was a little bit of a snippet of what Fun for Life looks like. Just a reminder, they were all 12 years old. Baru je habis CPSA, tengah duduk tak buat apa. 2019, right before 2020 punya COVID. So Najib, maybe you can share a bit your experience.
Okay, so as you can see, that man that was giving that talk was me in 2019. Might look a bit different, but yes, that was our first Fun for Life camp in Tanga, right? I remember those days when we were planning for it. Logistically, it was just we did it in what, 3 weeks, maybe or less, putting together the program, refining it. And when we reached SK Putra Tanga, when Anina and team was setting up, I was actually worried. Right? I was actually worried. How are we gonna teach? Because as you see, the financial simulation that we did, a very fun, engaging game with the 12-year-old kids. We introduced concepts like investment, right? We wanted them to, because how it went through is that we had all these students go through different rounds and making different financial decisions as if they are adults. getting their first job, buying their first house, getting their first car, transportation. They can choose their lifestyle, suddenly get kids, and along the way, make investments, right? Concept of investment to 12-year-old kids, and then and along the way make decisions about takaful. And as we go through, introduce what Alina mentioned, that peristiwa mengejutkan, and unexpected event, accident, you get sick, these cards, and they see the difference in decisions of how whether when you take takaful or not, right? It was, I and from somebody who was worried, then I became a believer. I was a total believer by the end of that simulation. And by the end of the program, on the third day, as you can see, right, the second day we came up with all these wireframes and programs. I think that particular app that they provide is secondary. Because at the third day, we give them this problem statements, awareness. How do you create awareness on takaful to other people? How do you get people to come up on takaful? These are 12-year-old kids, mind you. And they came up with things, right? With that, it's simple, but easy to explain, right? And when they presented, and when they sat in front, presenting to me and Alina and a group of us, presenting their projects, I was sold, right? They could explain the importance of takaful better than some of my colleagues at the office. And then that's how the financial literacy program has managed to teach kids, 12-year-old, on the importance of takaful, which we as industry sometimes struggle to do every day, right? So I found it like, oh my goodness, this is something that we need to scale. This is something that we need to continue to do. In Carnival Kewangan Perlis itself, because the program was a pre to the actual event of Carnival Kewangan, we set up a big tent there, and we actually exhibited the prototype that was produced by the students, and the students actually came and was explaining to the public that came on their projects. You see some abang police coming in, and the kids explaining, this is what takaful is. Abang ambil, abang ambil, abang. And this is the kind of things that I saw in my own eyes, how the financial literacy program, how Fund for Life actually provided this knowledge to these kids and awareness, and actually, while simple, gave them the important bullets of explaining the importance of takaful to another person. So again, obviously I was happy, right? Being in the industry for many years and wanting to do this for a very long time, I've finally saw something that gave impact to people. And if some of you who has the chance to work with me would know that I'm a very impatient person as well. So I went to Alina, let's do more. And at the end of the year, we actually did another program in KL, another school holiday program. We got a few schools in Kepong and Cheras, and then we got the Buku Jalan Chowkit kids to also join. And we did another program with this time 14 and 16-year-old kids. And again, it was another program. We were doing a bit digital instead of writing on a piece of paper. They were keying into spreadsheets of how they budgeted and stuff like that. And come 2020, we were planning, right? Alina was presenting and sharing, okay, this is the plan. We're going to go to Perak, Kedah. We're going to probably, and I say, hey, let's go to Sabah, Sarawak. Let's go there and have these physical camps there. Let's get this out. So many kids as possible, right? Boom, COVID-19 hit us. Right? And we couldn't do these plans of having these physical camps that we are so proud of, that me and Alina just shared with you. We actually came to a stall, right? Alina, we were like, oh, what do? We don't know when the school will reopen. We don't know how this pandemic will turn out. But at that point of time, at this particular point of time, pandemic, COVID-19, a lot of us know what happens to a lot of people out there. Financial literacy was more crucial than anything else. People needed to understand what is important financially, what needs to manage financially. And that's where we came back together, Alina and us, came back, brainstorm, and brought Fund for Life to what? to the next level that what we have today. And then now I'm going to pass it back to Alina to share what we've done since then.
Thank you, Najib. And so, yes, at the beginning of 2020, nothing happened. We actually stopped. We were a bit paralyzed at that time. Mana lah nak buat the camp again. And we couldn't really imagine it doing it virtually because it was going to be very difficult to do the simulation and such. And so we started, you know what, we have a lot of resources. We have a lot of content. Why not we build a portal where anybody and anyone can go and visit. And this is Fun for Life. So we created fun4.life and we put content for murid according to years, content for parents according to how old their children are, content for cikgu, for sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah, and we just created more and more open source financial literacy content that anybody who is interested to explore and start, they can come here. And within this, we created a lot of new materials for teachers to embed in their own subjects. So tak kisahlah subjek agama ke, subjek pendidikan moral ke, sejarah, you can and will be given tips on how to embed financial literacy within it. In fact, we had this map for murid, for ibu bapa, for guru at different age. What financial literacy knowledge should the children have? Kalau ibu bapa, if you have children at the age of 7 to 9 years old, what activities can you do with them so that they can catch up with financial literacy? Untuk cikgu, we tell them what are their roles, what can they do in the classroom to help their students gain financial literacy knowledge. And we're telling them that every teacher, every educator can be a financial literacy educator. And that is when we started Guru Celik Kewangan. So this Guru Celik Kewangan is an online self-learning course where teachers can start learning all of the 6 CK, Celik Kewangan. Ada 6 Celik Kewangan that FEN has identified with MOE. And we broke it down. So at this point, there's about 600 teachers all over Malaysia who has already enrolled and completing the course. On top of that, we asked the teachers to create resources. Cikgu lah create lesson plan on financial literacy, on how to embed financial literacy within their own subject. And here we can see, ramai cikgu tak pilih CK6. And CK6 is pelindungan. Sebab apa? Even they have difficulties of explaining what pelindungan is, and they have difficulties embedding it into their own material. So here we see an opportunity. If they tak boleh jelaskan CK6, this is where GCK can come in and we can support teachers to really understand each and every one of the CK because every 6 is important. So on top of Guru Celik Kewangan, we moved all of our online camp, yang before this was 3 days, into 3 to 5 weeks of engagement, online engagement. On top of that, kita orang create many videos, and this one is for teachers to use it in the classroom. We created Kecil-Kecil Celik Duit, which is hosted by Zara. She's 10 years old, and she talks about money. And we cover all of the CK6. And we started running all of our camps virtually. So I'm going to show a snippet of the video of how this is done virtually, because it was difficult for us to imagine at the beginning as well.
Virtual Fun for Life camp is a camp where students are invited to a camp that is a virtual, and then we name this virtual world Dunia Fantasy Flora dan Ladang, where we want to make this camp gamified. Every student has a character in this camp and they can get GP, XP, AP, and they can even send kudos to their friends.
This is really appealing for students because students love game adventure and then they want to be rewarded for their positive behaviors. So when students see the Classcraft interface, they have fun while learning financial literacy.
My main concern is the dropout rate because we want to make sure that these 60 students get the best experience that they can get. And then some of the effort that we do for this is that we do mid-camp check-in with the school teachers. We find it quite efficient as well because we get to know what is the main struggle from the students, whether is it a technical problem, whether is it like they have too many things to handle to cope in the school, that we get to know what is the main reason. To us it is an achievement as well, like 53 out of 60 of them managed to complete the camp.
Some of the students have a very packed schedule. So we have problems in retention. So what we do is that we make consultation hours so that we can assist students case-to-case basis, and then we need to make sure that they all have their mobile application to showcase at the end of the journey.
We send physical camp kit for the students before the camp start, and then also in the middle of the camp we give out the chocolate as a gift. They're like, wow, they received something in the school as a reward for them, like being actively participating in the camp. This camp really increased the awareness, the importance of takafu, and then how can they manage their money better in terms of like investment. There are very good questions coming from the students that we are really happy to see that.
Bagi saya satu inisiatif yang sangat berkesan lah, sebab apa, camp secara online. Dengan keadaan sekarang yang dia PKP, saya rasa camp seperti ni, satu menambah ilmu pengetahuan, satu mendidik budak berkomunikasi. Bagi saya sangat kaedah yang interaktif dalam keadaan yang tak boleh ke mana. Pelajaran tentang takafu, sebab banyak jenis takafu yang saya belajar. Dia jadi penunjuk arah untuk apa saya patut buat nanti, apa pilihan yang saya patut buat. Saya tak tahu sebenarnya satu ilmu baru untuk saya, sebab kita akan guna di masa depan. So bagi saya, bila saya dah belajar dari usia macam ni, dah satu turning point untuk saya lebih langkah berjaga-jaga dalam kehidupan akan datang.
Are you guys ready?
Sudah bersedia?
I'm ready.
Sedia. நான் தயாராக இருக்கிறேன்.
Berhal.
I'm ready.
So that was a virtual camp that we ran. We ran a few virtual camps after that. In fact, we had a national level competition of financial planning last year, where we had more than 100 students all over Malaysia participating, all still in their secondary level. So I also wanted to share one very special camp that we ran in 2020. Ada one slot in 2020 where COVID was easing up a bit and it was opening up a bit. And so we ran an in-person camp again in 2020 with students from PPR Sungai Bonus. And this particular camp is very close to my heart because we were working with students who dropped out for years, who had difficulties academically, who was struggling with family issues. And we ran the entire camp with them. And for some reason, the simulation hit them a bit harder than the previous camps. Like we could actually see some of the students were breaking down because they were really losing money, but all the money sebenarnya duit tipu je, bukan duit real pun. And they were really macam menyesal tak manage money properly. And I get really macam sebab a bit with this one because the kids were really innocent in that sense. Like they knew all of this was difficult, but they tried really hard to go through the camp with us. And one of the things that I really remember until today was that bila kita tanya diorang, okay, apa tentang duit, or was there any point in your life that you thought money was very important? And I remember one of the boys wrote down in his buku, and he said, when we had to borrow money to buy batu nisan from my mom. And masa tu I rasa sedih because they were so young and they were going through so much more than I was going through in my life. And money was a very difficult issue for them to talk about. So this one, I get really emotional. Najib knows about this. But even yesterday, we had another camp with students from Asrama Akhlak in Sentul, where these are kids who were dropping out. And we talked about financial literacy and said, no matter where you come from, at the end of the day, managing money is going to be very important to make sure that your life doesn't get worse. So I'm going to pass this on to Najib and then let him share with you his reflection.
Okay, so I think that was a very interesting episode. To give you some background to what happened for PPR Sungai Bonus. So we at Every Takaful, at that point of time, we wanted to launch our first micro takaful product, Every Kasih. Right? It was a product that I was very proud of, as low as RM2 for 10,000 cover for female between the ages of 19 to 39. But again, I wanted it to work, right? But again, we don't want to be short sendiri, right? We want to be able to communicate the right product to the audience. But I did not know how to speak to the low income group. That's why I came one day, we had a session, a meeting, a regular catch up that me and Alina and the team always do at her office, and say, Alina, I have this product, Alina, can we do one Fun for Life camp at a PPR so that we can do? And the as you earlier, we always had these camps, and at the end of the day do some digital app. This time around we did we told them to do storytelling, and they told their story of how or what money means. And as Alina mentioned, it was similar to Alina and similar to yesterday. I've never, to be honest, I've made time, and this is so personal to me as a person. And as usual, I've attended all Fun for Life programs except for one. I know which one because I had another program at Autism Cafe Project on the same day where the Kejar Impian snippet in one of the PPRs. So I couldn't attend that. It was devastating to me as well. But when we went there, and we had these kids, right? 60% of them were school dropouts. And we had this conversation, we talked to them, and then they told about their story. I had to quit school because my mom got cancer. And we had not enough money. Right? I wish every kasi the family had taken. If they had that 10,000 ringgit at that point of time when the mom passed away, the kid does not have to leave school. Right? And I know this is a long shot in VBIT. You think that, financial literacy, you're just teaching kids about financial literacy and takaful, but this is what it means, right? This is what it means when you empower with knowledge, because they could make different decisions. They could influence people to make different decisions that could have impact on their lives. Once you take education away from kids, how do you want to change their life? How do you want to get them out from the situation they are in? That might be possible, that it will be a very long road, and it might, it will be much more challenging. Education is a ticket. All of us know. All of us got jobs because we had education somewhere around there, right? So that was really an eye-opening. Yesterday, that particular, it was just a 3 hours, the most compact Fun for Life camp I've ever had with Alina. But it was, again, a very eye-opening, right? Because financial literacy, and I'm going to share this particular slide while I'm at it. Alalang ada buat this slide kan. I shared this before somewhere. Let me just share this. Can you see, right? Oh no, all right. Okay, this is where you see, right? And where we have this, right? Because financial literacy is for everyone. But again, it's also very important for this underserved and unserved community because they don't understand. In terms of any other knowledge itself, it's already, they have limited access. What more financial literacy? And if we come up with good inclusive products, even for this community, and we don't teach them, we don't empower them with this knowledge of how to do this well and make those decisions in life, they won't make that life-changing decision to take up a takaful product. I've always told, right? And every conversation I have with this community, I always say that if a low-income community is able to save 50 ringgit a month in a year, how much would they have? 600 ringgit. What can 600 ringgit do for the family if the breadwinner passes away? Probably pay 2 months of rent, 3 months of rent. If the person had taken any micro takaful product, and for this illustration, take advocacy at 2 ringgit, right? That's 24 ringgit a month. If pass away in the year, they get 10,000 ringgit. That difference, that knowledge empowerment, if we can't change the community today, we can change or shape the financial literate generation of tomorrow. That's where I think where Fun for Life comes in. And all these programs, because and after that PPR Sungai bonus itself, we came about understanding that financial literacy itself is a very complicated subject. It's a very wide subject, right? We have financial literacy for people like you and me, right? Which we address quite easily through webinars like this, infographics, posters, and stuff like that. But there are more targeted financial literacy for the segments that needs to be educated a bit more, right? Fun for Life is for children. We have some in FWD for adults, but today is about Fun for Life, right? And so we talk about, and Fun for Life ranges around youth, right? We want to empower, again, the theme of Fun for Life is shaping financial literate generation of your future. So we empower even the youth. So we thought about this problem right after PPR Sungai Bonus. I think future or forward looking. I'm also very passionate about disabled segment. We have some disabled products in it. We will probably venture into this as well. So we started off, and we started off this challenge, and again virtual because it was COVID, right? Digital Financial Inclusion Challenge, right? We wanted to get more voices because as industry, we, people like you and me and most of the people on this call, probably from the other Taka operators, if there are any, we always have this, limited box of how we look at things. But we needed new ways of more effective ways of reaching out to this underserved segment. So we who more to talk about or to discuss this than the youth. So we came up with this. I think Alina Muted and I was very supportive of the Digital Financial Inclusion Challenge 2020. We've done 2, and we've given this problem statement. How do you get Takaful to the B40 segment, right? That and things like that. And after 2, now we've said, no, let's get it out there and empower them even more. So we are now in the process of establishing the Financial Inclusion Youth Committee. And we were getting reps from universities all across Malaysia to build and formally establish this youth community, so that then we will fund it and give them mentoring for the first few years, and then off they go on their own, right? To continue to champion this financial literacy and financial inclusion agenda. I think that's what we want to be, right? And Alina's mentioned, right? And when we design Fun for Life, we've now touched the students, that the future generation, the parents who also mold, right, these kids on how to be more financial literate. Alina shared that kecil-kecil celik duit. I look at episode 6-5, right, on perlindungan. I did that episode with Zara. So if I explain Takafu wrongly, you can please comment, right? Then that was meant for parents as well, a lot of it, to also explain, have that conversation, with kids, with their children. I mean, now we're going big on teachers, right? Because and I know there's talks about how the government is embedding financial literacy into the syllabus right now. One thing that I probably say now before I forget, that I've learned throughout this experience with Alina, Ame, and her team at Aros Academy is how to provide this knowledge to people, right? To kids especially. And again, if you apply this to adults, it's probably the same. It's how do we relate to them? How do we bring meaning of money to them? Actually, it's not just academic. It's not just concept on papers, like what is sukuk or what is takaful. This is how do you ensure that they understand this on a reality basis, right? On day-to-day basis. So that's what I love about. So that's what we're trying to empower the teachers with as well, right? So we have this, and now we have this youth community who will then, on a more intellectual level or more shaping for the generation, where we provide them advocacy opportunity and also the blank sheet of paper to actually set how they want to do this. So all in all, this is Fun for Life. And then we have a lot more going with us. I think we have a lot more plans. We don't stop here, because financial literacy, again, coming back to value-based intimidation for Takova, coming back to VBIT, how financial literacy can actually create that impact to people, right? To the people out there, to consumers, to the public at large, is by empowering knowledge. The more knowledge you know about Takaful, the better decisions you make about the protection you need. We are here, right? I know everyone will agree that we're not here just for the money. We're just not getting every customer out there to take something that they don't need. We're not here to to take money away from people. We want people to be protected with the right kind of protection. Critical illness, if they have a cancer family history like me, you know, and stuff like that. Term protection or for whatever liabilities they have. So we want to empower them with this. And what best to do it in a very gradual manner through students from young, through Fun for Life, and then supplement with other things. So I'm going to pass to Alina to share some of her thoughts on this.
I'll make it quick because there's questions that I think is very interesting. I just wanted to share that masa lepas buat PPR Sungai Bonus, one of the students, Danish, he decided that, you know what, he wanted to work with Arus. And so we took him in and he became a facilitator for one of our online Fun for Life camp. And on the first day of working with us, he signed up for Takaful and he asked me to help him do that. So that was very encouraging for me. I taught him online banking. I taught him how to access the difference between your debit card and your, he didn't know what debit cards were. So I actually taught him, he was 19 at that time. He's a gamer now, so he plays, he does streaming, doing very well, playing games. So as Najib has shared, Fun for Life has not just changed a lot of the way students look at money, it has personally changed me. I took up Takaful right after I ran Fun for Life. I did not have a life insurance, but now I do because of Fun for Life. And it's not just me and for my family, the entire Arus team is so aware about financial literacy now that we're creating more content on just let's talk about money and not be afraid to talk about money. Apa yang korang tak tahu and apa yang korang nak tahu. And in fact, today Najib is going into another money talk with us, just to normalize talking about money and our challenges with money. I will pass it back to Encik Sutian, our host.
Actually, to be honest with you guys, I'm quite proud actually what you guys, both of you are very passionate about the subject, and bukan you je, I mean you are feeling it, but when you share with me also about the Sungai Bonus, I was also like, I was about, you know, I can feel you. So because I think it's it affects us. We have childrens, we also have the, I think congratulations FWD and Arus for actually coming out with Fun for Life. You really make the so-called module very fun for everyone to join. But maybe, you know, I have to maybe ask Cik Najib to come back again and talk about that so-called digital financial inclusion challenge too. So I want to hear about it more. So don't run away. We will invite you again, hopefully for the next sessions. So it's fun. Even to be honest, macam bila I tengok that kind of fun, you know, I also want to join. You know, I also want to join. To be part of the journey that FWD is doing to change the financial literacy. But one thing that I realized that when you share, Cik Najib, about the 10,000 ringgit for when you know the boy was saying that, you know, his mother was passed away, and you was saying that you hope that that particular individual bought the 2 ringgit fund kasih. I think most of the time the decision making is by the bread earner, kan? So and then pada masa tu that's actually trigger me whether the husband also should be the next target, so-called, because I saw one write up dekat mana I can't remember. Even they were saying like, hey, if you are the wife, why don't you just like, you know, meet up with your husband and ask the husband, how much do you earn, where do you, you know, where do you spend? Or even, you know, if the wife actually have financial literacy which is more higher than the husband, you know, the wife can actually suggest that, okay, never mind, take my my so-called nafkah sikit untuk beli something protections. So it is actually is quite wide, and the so-called the target, and even for that teenage, the gamer 19 years old, you know, I think one of our initiative in the future was to make Takaful ni to be part of their punya so-called income. They can generate income from takaful, and he is actually a true potential of believing on the product, sharing it. So this, I think at the end of the day, hopefully, like the VBIT is doing, we are creating the new takaful. Okay, I know there's actually some questions that I think we need to address. So yeah, maybe we can look at the questions first. Well, we have a long question from Ahmad Farhan, speaking about the B40 and fresh grad start their career. Is it enough for them to subscribe basic takaful plan, death and TPD only? Most young people nowadays tend to purchase medical plan does not have coverage or not enough death TPD. So are there any comprehensive protection as recommended by industry, 5 to 10 years replacement income? So that is quite interesting. Yeah, I think I can relate back pada your example in the website, Abang Daniel, right? So maybe I can ask the panel maybe to answer Encik Ahmad Farhan.
Ahmad Daniel, Alina, you want to share Ahmad Daniel's story? Or maybe let me answer first, and then if anything, Alina, you can. There's also another question from Zafar Abdul Ghafur, right? On complex trading. People think that is very complex. Okay, but maybe I answer that first. All right. Okay. Many thought that it's like trading and which is more complex than what they thought. I think that's why we're doing this, Zafar, right? Because a lot of them think it of misconception, because takaful industry or similarly in the conventional insurance industry is really a business of contracts. It's a lot of words, right? Who have the time to actually read a lot of words, right? And to make things complicated, and it's always combined with a lot of things, and people get drowned in overflow of information. Well, in actual fact, the most critical information that you require, knowledge you require, is what kind of protection you need to take, right? That's what you need. If you have liabilities that you're building, you need to be able to ensure that you cover it in case anything happens to you. You don't want to leave your family with debts. Or if you have family, when you leave, you want to leave enough from what you're earning today, or to ensure that they can continue with life. Everybody has risk to medical. That's why you take medical. If you have a family history of critical illness like me, my late dad passed away due to prostate cancer. Obviously, I need to take a CI product, right? It's really that more than trading. It's there's no part of it trading. Maybe you can misconception because there's a lot of investment link product out there. Even that product is actually very simple. You leave the investment link portion, you just choose your funds and let it run, right? You don't have to think about it. You just know that at the end of the day, you take a protection for whatever, and that. So it's a lot to do with misunderstanding and misinformation, and that's why we and I urge the industry should continue to champion financial literacy, because it's the only way you can eliminate or bring better clarity to all this misunderstanding, right? So on Ahmad Farhan, right? Is it enough, right? First and foremost, I won't say whether it is enough or not. Anything that depends on your situation, but it's a good start. I think in the industry itself has a lot, and just not everyday takaful, every kasih. A lot of my fellow other operators are also introducing a lot of perlindungan tenang products. People think about perlindungan tenang B40, whatever. Don't think about that. It's the label, right? It's a good starter product for anyone who earns lower income, who starts job. Like you don't start job and earn 40,000-50,000 ringgit a month. So anything is good. Everybody has their loved ones. Everybody has some debts. You fresh grad, you might even want to start early so that if you start take up you buy your first motorcycle or whatever, you have inside coverage for that. Medical plan, yes, go ahead and take, but just beware, right, of your options. Don't go burdening yourself with contribution that you can't afford for medical plan, because you still have options as students to go to public hospital one, or take a basic one, right? You're young, you're rough, rugged. Share a room with a few other patients, right? Don't take something that you can't afford, right? Comprehensive product recommended by industry. Everybody's working on providing an affordable one. At FW Takafu, we have this flexi cover online that has a DEF TPD, DEF CI combination you can choose, and I'm sure a lot of other players has as well, right? Look for something. I think the most important, as we talk about financial literacy, and one of the things that me and Alina continue to tell people, tell the students when we talk we do this with the students, is ensure that, if any advice I've ever given on what takaful, when you want to make a important decision on taking out takaful, is can you afford it even when you're having hard times, right? Because COVID-19 told you, when financial stress hits, a lot of people just put away takaful. But if anything happens during that time, somebody passed away during that time, and you suddenly decided to cancel your takaful the day before, imagine the impact that it would have in the family. So just ensure you take up something affordable. Alina, you want to add anything? So let me just see some of the questions as well.
No, I'm just looking at all the other questions that are really, really great. I think I just typed up to Muhammad Razwan, who brought up, we were just talking about this, Najib, about how insurance and takaful is coming to the classroom. And we were just talking about how it's so important to bring relevance into the classroom. And insurance takaful protection plan is one of the key element of financial literacy and financial freedom. So kalau tak perkenalkan sekarang, nak perkenalkan bila? To assume that they would eventually figure it out when they're adults is something that have been proven wrong, because a lot of adults still do not know about protection plans. I'm all for industry and education to come together and figure this out together, and support educators to bring this into the classroom.
Yeah. So, okay, there's this question, right? Is there any way other TOs can join? It's very long. Come and talk to me, reach out to MTA, link up with me. We can work something out, right? Don't be shy. I think financial literacy is for everyone. Right now, we are the funders at FW Takafu, something that I'm really proud of. Me and Lina took it from, and another person, but I have to mention her name, Intan, who was part of the three people at San Francisco Coffee who came out. They were very passionate, invested in this. But we're more than happy to extend and share with a lot more people, get a lot more people impacted. Right? We want to change lives, right? Even it's small. And when I say change life, we don't want to change the world and things like that. I think that's why we were sharing today with everyone on this beautiful webinar. Thank you again, Mission Takaful Association, for organizing it, so that you all understand, everyone realize the importance of financial literacy, right?
Okay.
And it takes a lot of people to bring it up. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. If I may invite Cik Najib and Puan Aina, any last words, because I do actually aware of the time that we are now at 12:31. So if I may invite you to give any last word to the audience that actually participating today in our webinar.
Alina, maybe you go first, Alina.
I just want to say that this is a great opportunity. As an educator like myself, I would love for more industry to invite educators to be part of how to spread the good word. And one thing that I would really just love to share again is that it really truly takes a village to raise a child. So it cannot stop at Nanjil, it cannot stop at FW Takafu. It really takes everybody.
Yeah. So and from me, and I'm going to echo what Alina just mentioned, right? It's really, again, we started off this in FW Takafu is something that we believe in, right? And we've seen the fruits of it, right? There is a lot more to be done. We've only catered, with all the things that we've shared today, we've mainly catered for students. I know at FW Takafu we do have other financial literacy program for adults. We try. It's still not at scale. but again, it's something that's important, right? If you want to create, use VBIT to create the value impact to people out there, to consumers out there, beyond, and show to people that we truly care about you, right? You want to empower, you want the community empowerment pillar to make the right decisions, then financial literacy is the way to go, right? Go and again, if anything that I've learned throughout these experiences, to really first find a good partner, right? Arus Academy is one of the best partners that I found, because I don't believe, let me tell you, if anybody wanted a tip on making a program successful, I don't believe in just appointing someone as a service provider and leaving them to do it. It's always a partnership. Alina's great at teaching Alina and her team at Arus is great at teaching students and things like that. Me and my team at Every Takaful, we are the specialists on Takaful and financial literacy. It only takes two to make it work, right? And the other thing is, again, repeating something I've mentioned before, is the ensuring that you create that link, right? How this means to you. Right? It has to be personal. Financial literacy is not academic. We just don't tell people concepts and make it and tell them that, hey, Takaful is important. Don't you understand? It doesn't work that way.
It's all about passion, right? Yeah,
that's another thing. Like, you have to believe in it, right? That's another thing. So that's all for me. So I hope, again, from the bottom of my heart, and I believe I speak on behalf of Alina, from the Fun for Life team, both at Every Takaful and Academy, we thank you for this opportunity to share. We hope you've learned a lot from this. Any shortcomings from myself, any greatness is from Allah. Passing back to you, Encik Sofian, to close.
Okay, thank you very much, Cik Wan Najib dengan Puan Alina. Thank you for sharing, and I hope both of you will be back again as speakers for future webinar. I'm gonna harass you to come back. To the audience, thank you very much for your time. Please do join us as we continue on our journey on the VBIT webinar series on Living Out. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. So from me, have a good day and have a good lunch. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you all.